Whatever time you say. We'll do our regular 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Well, hello everybody. We had some technical difficulties, and so but we did it. We got it. I'm just looking for a video of my guest. Um, I have a Zildjian thing. That's a solo thing. So maybe a drum joke. I have a drum joke. Let's see. And wow, Dennis Chambers and Tommy Campbell. Pretty cool. Okay, so here's a Tommy Campbell thing. So while I'm cutting and pasting,
Still there?
me, yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Okay, what's that fun? This meeting is being live streamed. Okay, got it. Okay, hold on. I'm presentable, man. I just finished a 4-hour lesson. I'm just gonna listen.
We're listening. Hold on.
Oh man, what is that? Oh gosh. All right. Oh gosh. I can't do that.
Yes, you can, and you did.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my guest, Tommy Campbell. And again, with the Mercury in retrograde, I guess, technical difficulties.
Boy, to say the least.
But we did it.
I got it. Who is this? Who is this vocalist up here? What is this? Oh, this is just a Zoom advertisement. Let me see if I can close that.
Do you see our window?
Stop video. Stop video.
No, don't stop video.
No. I just got a little square.
Okay,
Better.
so if you double click on it, probably it gets bigger or
Oh no. Trying to make it big, it's just super tiny.
do you have a view choice?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Yeah. Gallery.
Okay, now it looks okay.
Now it looks normal.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
The seagulls are finally here.
Leave it to a
Hey,
drum.
who else is watching? Is it just me and you, or 3 other people, or 30 people, or 13 people, or 300 people?
We don't know yet.
Okay. Well, we have each other.
As the time goes on, people come in or people start commenting. I think a lot of people watch right from
Okay.
but they comment as the time goes on.
Okay.
But we're here.
We're
And
here.
people can see this anytime. They can archive it. They can see it on my Facebook or on your Facebook, whatever.
Okay.
Oh, I just want to say one thing. Pharoah Sanders. Wow.
Sue Mingus.
Yeah, man.
Yep, and the hits will keep coming, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Really been crazy.
Yeah.
And especially when you're over 30 like we are, even more.
Yeah.
When it's
Last
at over
night
30.
Last night I was coming back from a gig and so I turned on one of the college stations and they were doing a whole thing on Pharoah. It was incredible. It was great. I actually didn't want to turn it off when I came in the house. It was great.
Wow.
Beautiful.
There was a moment there when I was really checking out Pharoah Sanders a lot. But I gotta say, I do not know his music as much as I know his contribution and his aura that he has left and put on music. All my peers talk about him. I actually had the privilege of doing a tour that actually it started out well, but it ended horrible, and it wasn't either of our faults. But we had a gig in Brazil.
Yeah.
And it was a weird lineup for me because I was really wondering how I got on it. It's Freddie Hubbard, Kenny Barron, Pharoah Sanders, Gary Bartz, and David Williams. Wow. And I'm just thinking, who couldn't make this one? Maggie Jeanette, Victor Lewis. I don't know, man. But I know I wasn't supposed to be on that. Somehow Gary Bartz called me. Right time, New York, especially, right time, right place.
Yeah.
And he called me and said, "You want to do this tour?" And I went, and he told me he was playing. I went, "Are you kidding?" Yeah, I was choked up. And so we went to South America, and that was the first and only time I played with Pharoah Sanders. Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah. I've seen him on many festivals and whatnot, and saw his band, in these festivals in Europe, especially. But he was a real nice man. And that story that I just told you, it's a lot more to it.
Well, first of all,
there you go.
First of all, how is playing with Pharoah?
Unbelievable. I was on cloud 9. Yes. It's really not a good, I played with Pharoah, but to make a long story short, the promoters who promoted it, it was a team of promoters, and uh, they it was a scam. They brought us over to Brazil. We rehearsed. We played the first concert, and then they stole the money on the first concert. They stole all the money, plane tickets, everything, and we were left completely high and dry, completely like on the road, on a gravel street, dragging our suitcases to the airport where we have no tickets and no money. It was absolutely horrible.
Wow.
We played one concert.
Incredible.
We played one concert, but by complete luck, the people who were promoting it, they told me, since I was definitely low man on the totem pole, they said, Tommy, you know, us promoters, we're going over 5 days early to promote the tour. And everything is paid for, what the Rio Grande, the Hilton, what have you, blah, blah, blah. Everything, it's all carte blanche. Everything is paid for. If you want to come and just hang out while we promote, you can. And I never took, this was 1993 about, I never took a vacation in my life, but I said, oh man, this sounds like I bet. And I actually took, because the thing would be is that if I go over there 5 days earlier, I got nothing to play that I know of. You know, I know it's Brazil, and I might come across something, but you know, I got to really know: am I going to be able to shed and be in shed mode, or not shed at all and totally just vacation, which I've never done before, and try to pull it all together on the day of the gig when they come back. And I said, it's a free vacation in Brazil. I can't turn that down, man. I can't turn it down. If something comes up and I can play, you know, it'll only tease me that I got a shed, but.
So these are the same guys who absconded with the money.
Say again?
These are the same guys who absconded with the money?
One of the guys, the other guys were already there. It was one guy from New Jersey who was Brazilian, and he partnered with his boys in Brazil, said, meet me in Brazil, we're going to steal this money, basically.
So you went over and they did pay for you?
Yeah, I went over early with the promoters. All the flights coming in were paid for to bring us in so we could do that one big concert in front of about 8,000 people.
You guys didn't have round trip tickets?
No.
See, that's the first rule of being on the road, isn't it? Get a round trip ticket.
I know. No, I basically have not ever bought a ticket. It was always
no, given to you, but always like when the promoter says, "Here's a ticket," it always has to be round trip, because, well, see what happens.
I know so many. You know, I know so many that have not. You know, they maybe get the money for the trip going back, but let me figure that out, because after the tour, I'm going to go to Amsterdam and chill or play another gig with some other cats, and they might have something else going on.
Okay.
And so I you know, you gave me the money for the ticket, but I'll let somebody else. I remember I once was on a tour and the bass player said, Tommy, I'm going to stay in Paris. Can you take my bass back for me? No. And I said, well, you know, he's a very good friend, Santi Debriano, bass player. And he's a very good friend. And I said, man, I can do that, man. I'm a drummer. I'm used to carrying between 5 to 10 to 13 cases. This is one big case, and I'm 6 feet tall, 6 foot 5 inches tall. You know, show me how to latch it, pack it, strap it, and bag it. And so he did. I've seen enough. We've both seen enough bass players put their bass in the case, strap it up, put the cushions here, the air bubble wrap here. Man, I went through about 3 checkpoints where they said, take it out, unstrap it, unpack it, play it. And then now, okay, put it back together.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, I had a whole new respect for bass players. But yeah, to answer your question, generally, yes. Luckily, that's it's thought out for me, and they always get a round trip ticket.
Okay, but what happened?
Huh?
What happened? So you guys got to the airport and then what?
This one of the promoters that was the good promoters, she and Gary Bartz contracted the musicians and helped promote. She called her dad, and her dad sent money and bought the tickets from the airport.
Wow.
Kenny Barron, he was the only one in the group that had money. Freddie Hubbard, nobody had money. Kenny Barron. So as we were walking to the airport, Kenny Barron said, "See that big hotel over there?" We said, "Yeah." He said, "That's where I'll be for the next week. Bye." And he left us. And he took a legit vacation in Brazil. He was the only one who had any money. Freddie Hubbard was cussing and screaming, "Where's my money at?"
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, I was low man on the totem pole, and I spent 4 luxurious days and 5 nights in the Rio de Janeiro Hilton, suites, room service, private beach, 24-hour limo, just like crazy. So I actually had a ball. and if you really want to laugh, I'm not mentioning any of the names to protect the innocent, but on the second set, Freddie Hubbard's taking a solo just in front of 8,000 people, and across the stage runs one of the promoters yelling, "Help, help, he's gonna kill me, please somebody help me." And she's running from stage left to stage right with her boyfriend behind her. "Come back here, bitch, I'm gonna fuck you up, give me that money," in front of 8,000 people, in front of and when we finished, everything was gone. Money, plane tickets, everything. When we went backstage, everything was gone.
Oh my God. Wow. That's a pretty rank story.
So one-way ticket, round trip. They would have stole that too. They would have, in this case, everything was stolen except for our passports. That's the only thing we had. So anyway, but you're right though. Usually 99% of the time you get a round trip ticket.
Yeah. Well, in that case, maybe because it's such in a different area of the planet. It's not like you're going to France and then you can go to Italy afterwards or something like that,
Yeah.
So I have a question already for you from Taylor Hatch, who's a guitarist who goes to North Texas. And he said, knowing that you've played with so many musicians, can you talk about one moment you gained from playing with someone that changed your perspective on playing, or how you could improve as a musician?
That's so easy. We can go Dizzy Gillespie or Sonny Rollins. Since I'm wearing the shirt, I'll go Sonny Rollins. Played with him for 20 years.
Yeah.
And my first year with Sonny, first of all, my audition was 2 hours straight without stopping.
Really?
Just me and him at SIR. And Buddy Williams actually just made a phone call. He saw that I was telling Tommy, "You want to audition for Sonny's? He's auditioning now." He made a crazy, "Sonny, look, there's a good drummer over here, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, Sonny, boom. He just hooked it up like that. Buddy Williams. So I'm playing for Sonny, like my first year. Yeah. I'm asking for feedback, almost after every concert. "Sonny, how was the group one? Blah, blah, blah. Is that cool? Was it?" He gave me no feedback whatsoever. And I didn't want to, press too much, but whenever I felt I could ask him and I might get some feedback, I would ask him. Never gave me any feedback. Eventually I just started asking Bob Cranshaw, "Bob, what is this?" And Bob would usually say, "Well, this is what Jack DeJohnette would, he would play something like this." Or one of their favorite drummers was a drummer named David Lee, I think, who I never heard of. And yeah. Sonny and Bob loved him. And he would sometimes say, that David would do a little bit more on the rims or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I just kept going. But Bob Crenshaw, he said, look, you're still here, right? So, yes. And so, but still, I'm, curious and wonder, some songs felt great. I could tell,
I'm sorry. I have to ask you something. I'm not clear. Are you talking about after you got the gig with Sonny?
After I got the gig with Sonny, and now
This
we're
is
playing
like
concert.
playing. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
still looking to get better,
Yeah.
right? So, and Sonny just plays so many tunes. He loves those old songs, from movies and the American classic songs. So
Yeah.
and he knows all the lyrics and everything. He's so they're not coming after me. They're just coming.
Sure.
Okay. Concert by concert, I'm trying to figure this out and becoming more comfortable with this and that song and this ballad and this calypso and this 2-beat and this 4-beat and this somewhat Latin thing. And then, but there's still a few songs that I really it was driving me nuts. Should I keep playing this beat or should I fish around a little bit more? And about a year went by and still Sonny is giving me no feedback. He basically said, just keep going. He would say, keep going, So we're a year later and we're playing a concert somewhere and we're playing one of those songs that I was really fighting with myself. Am I doing it right? It still doesn't feel right. And suddenly, Sonny, he was soloing. He continued soloing, and he came back to the drums and started playing right next to me. And then he started quoting songs, one after another, with the lyrics and I knew the lyrics to the songs that he was quoting. He told me when we're leaving tomorrow, what he ate yesterday, his favorite song, his favorite color, his first girlfriend, his last girlfriend, maybe even how long this tour will be, when the next tour is coming. Just so much information, song after song. He must have quoted between 20 and 30 songs.
Wow.
Which, Sonny plays long solos anyway.
Yeah.
He must have quoted at least 20 songs, and I knew the lyrics to it about 16 of them. Or he quoted 30 songs, and I knew the lyrics to 25 of them. And he gave me very important information about his life and, why we're really here and what we should be focused on in life and music. Yep. His favorite food, his favorite color, his birthday, all into his horn. So that taught me that to listen. I don't have to make everything happen. Just he told me when we're checking out at a hotel the next morning. It was hard, and that taught me how important listening is.
Wow, that's super.
And it was definitely felt like one of those outer body experiences because every song that he played back to back, I knew the lyrics to.
God, that's like super intense. Last night I played a gig, a really nice gig, and this real dear friend of mine, John Leftwich, is a bass player, and
John who?
Leftwich.
Leftwich. Okay.
Yeah, he's really a great player. And anyway, he he always gets excited. He's great. So he was talking about how he loves to look for players who basically they meet in the musical space and then they they spontaneously go places. So it's like you're playing a song, like Miles, or he would play the same song with different groups, right? And they would meet in this moment, and then somebody would uh, say suggest musically like blah blah blah, and then everybody would go, oh yeah, blah blah blah, let's go over there, And he said he was talking about how exciting it is when there's super high level musicians who are doing that, because and that's kind of the ultimate experience, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, well, being a drummer and in the rhythm section, that's pretty common for a jazz musician.
yeah,
You hear something and then you go, they go.
yeah,
A horn player starts to play the same melody in 5 instead of 4, and you just go, oh, it's a suggestion.
yeah.
The Miles groups are one of the best from a musicianship standpoint. One of the best examples of the Miles, Herbie, Ron, and Tony with Wayne Shorter.
Yeah, yeah.
On My Funny Valentine, even though I know that it's an instrumental version, the famous My Funny Valentine, I think it's I thought about you. Miles has got the young rhythm section now, the new bloods, and I'm pretty sure it's the song I Thought About You. And the form that Miles had for that was he plays the head, then he solos only 2 choruses, and then they tag. And the tag is actually the solo where you stretch out. Just a tag, 1 6 3 6 2 5, and all types of versions of that. Flat 1 and all that harmonic stuff, but it's still a tag, and it goes on and on and on and on until you play the melody, right?
Yeah.
You know this version?
No, I do not.
Okay, you should check it out. It's beautiful, especially when it comes to improvisation on something really simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's I Thought About You.
I thought about you.
Or it's all of you, all of me, all of me.
There is an I thought about you.
That's it. Miles Davis, My Funny Valentine, right?
You mean
That's the name of the record.
let me just.
It's live.
Oh, the live one. Let's see, the live one. I
Live.
think. Let's
Classic.
see. I'm not sure. I thought the song I thought about you, Miles. I don't know. I can't quite.
Keep on, keep find it. You'll find it. Find it.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Cool. So Tommy and I, we didn't know each other at Berklee, did we? Or did we?
We didn't.
Yeah. So, because I left Berklee in '75.
I started Berklee in 75.
Yeah. But then we met in Japan.
And when was that? Where was that again?
Well, I don't remember, but it must have been a good hang because we connected.
Yes, we did. I was on your mailing list, like I've told you many times. You were my connection to stay in tune with America, for sure. I wasn't on too many people's mailing lists, but I was on yours. And so you were in Japan. Who were you there with?
Well, I toured through Japan with mostly with Philip Strange.
Oh yeah. Didn't you just do something new with Philip?
Well, we released a duo project from '92.
I see. I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. I did not get a chance to work with Philip Strange that much. I think I played with him once, maybe.
Yeah.
But since I had a vocal band, and I had started in New York, and I just took the music to Japan. One of my singers played with Philip Strange a lot, and they did a record. Her name is Yuki Yamaguchi, and she's
yeah,
good.
I know her name. Yeah,
yeah, she's good too.
Yeah,
I even brought her to New York and Boston, even.
Okay, yeah, because I played with him for like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, we
Well,
traveled a lot,
Oh,
and we traveled a little bit in Europe, and he came here a little bit
wow. And so you would do tours with him in Japan too?
all the
Nuts.
time.
Aren't they great? Aren't the tours, aren't the Japanese audience, are they amazing or what?
I love
They
Japan.
just love American classical music.
Yeah,
Just love it. And
yeah,
so many tours, not even just jazz, man. From Beatles, you name it.
yeah. No, I love
I
Japan.
lived there 13 years, so I knew the Japanese Chubby Checker, the Japanese Elvis Presley, the Japanese Willie Nelson, the Japanese New Kids on the Block, the Japanese. They had versions of all, the Japanese Tom Jones. Really, really, man. It's not unusual. Absolutely, man, they are big. They are big fans, man. Absolutely.
Where did you live in Japan? Tokyo?
Right in Tokyo, yeah.
And how long were you, like, when did you leave?
97 to 2011.
Okay. So
And
what made you go there and what made you leave?
what made me go there, I was playing in New York a lot, playing with the Manhattan Transfer, Sonny Rollins, a lot of local gigs. Wanted to do something different. I felt I was going around and around about 10 years in New York City. And I just wanted to, I've been in Japan with so many times, and I've always gotten offers from Sadao Watanabe, who was the number one Yoshiko Akiyoshi. Toshiko, sorry.
Toshi.
Toshiko Akiyoshi.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many Yoshis and Toshis. In Japan. I get my Toshis confused with my Yoshis. And I played with Lou Tabakin over there. And Sadao and Toshiko were the two most famous jazz musicians in Japan.
Yeah.
And Sadao, he asked me several times, Tommy, I got some projects going, I could set you up, with an apartment, blah, blah, blah. You could stay here, there's lots of other people who want to play with you, blah, blah. And finally I took him up on it. And then I had a female friend named Jessie. Her nickname was Jessie because she was half black, half Japanese, who I would go periodically. I would meet up with her on some of my tours, like with the Manhattan Transfer. I'd call her when we got to Osaka, and we go to either go bowling or go to lunch or something and just hang. She was just my friend for like 7 years. And then when I decided I was going to go for good, it kind of heated up a little bit. I'm glad you giggled. It heated up, and then we got married in New York. We went back to Japan, and started a great life, man. And had a kid, which that was unexpected because we told each other that we weren't going to have any kids. We ended up having a kid. I was so busy, man. I guess she was bored, and one of her girlfriends had a baby, and then she just got the baby.
the baby thing.
Yeah, and she hit me, boy, just like with a left hook out of nowhere. So we had our son, which he's now 21.
Oh wow!
And but our plan originally was that I was going to stay there about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
And come back to New York and bring her back. She wanted to know what her other side of her heritage, of her genes was. She was half black, raised in Japan. Yeah. So that was the plan, and I was planning up. And that's just when 9/11 happened, just when we were getting ready to come back. 9/11 happened. Nobody could fly anywhere. Nobody wanted to fly to New York, especially.
Yeah.
So I had like 3 or 4 bands, let alone a lot of freelance gigs and stuff in Japan. Easy place to make a living. Like, gosh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go to New York even if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So stayed in Japan, I worked up some other things. Started playing with Terumasu Hino and a lot of other local people. They got the Japanese Bruce Springsteen, the Japanese Sting. You'd be surprised. You go, what? and they actually learned Bruce Springsteen and Sting songs to develop their own style. And then many of them, they take, they understand theory very well, and they take it and they piece it together, and then they put the Japanese meaning on it, change a couple of chords, and bang, they got a hit, and they're doing tours all over Japan. So that's just one scenario, but that's popular scenario. So then 3/11, we had 9/11, they had 3/11. You know what 3/11 is?
Wow. That
was March 11th, the tsunami.
Oh, okay.
I was taking a shower at the time. And like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy. Yeah. And so even though we were in Tokyo, we didn't get the water part of it, but we got the earthquake part of it. It's a 9 point something.
Yeah.
And so the Japanese economy did the same thing that the U.S. economy did during 9/11.
Yeah.
And what was the last straw was when the Blue Note, for example, some of the companies that make their living off of foreigners' importation, they were running out of ideas because the economy was so bad. Nobody was flying to Japan. The rumors that there was a radiation leak and everything. So the Blue Note was trying to stay open, and many of the this because you toured there, but many of the regular members of Blue Note customers who are members, who have a membership, when they go to Blue Note, they expect to see foreigners.
Yeah.
And Japan was running out of foreigners. So Dave Matthews, not the Dave Matthews pop rock band, but the Dave Matthews, the jazz musician, with the big band, right?
Yeah.
Manhattan Jazz Quintet and Manhattan Jazz Orchestra. He came over during that time when the economy was bad, and instead of finding a foreigner, he used a Japanese guy, a very, very famous Japanese rock drummer who loves to play jazz as a hobby. And they played at the Blue Note, and man, the guy read the charts, but could not swing. It was no swing whatsoever. I can honestly say that. It was like, it was like, so that was, I call that the last straw, because but if they would have hired me, they would have had to give me the music a month in advance, easily.
It was hard music.
Yeah. I'm just not a big band drummer.
Yeah.
But even though I played the Mingus big band, which I love, but that's not really your typical big band. So so that was the last straw, and I said, well, writing's on the wall. I'm out of here, So just after 3/11, the tsunami, me and my wife divorced. So I was on my own again.
Yeah. So after 9/11, you came back? You came back to New York?
Yeah. Came back to New York, and I come back. I decided I would come back in January so I could stop past the NAMM show and tell all my endorsements, Vic Firth, Evans Head, Silton Simmons, to that, okay, I'm over here now.
Yeah.
And this is where I'll be, so keep sending those products. And
good business, man.
Yeah. And so it was wintertime. So I got to New York and it was freezing. And I run into Craig Handy. Do you know who Craig Handy is?
Not really.
Saxophone player.
Uh-huh.
Ran into Craig Handy and, hey man, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, man. So you back in town? Yep, yep, yep. Man, I gotta hang out. I gotta let people know I'm around. So I'm gonna. He said, "Well, where do you want to go?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "How about Smoke? You heard of the club Smoke?"
Yeah.
Okay. How about? Okay. So I said, "Great. I'll hide behind Craig Handy so I can get in because, I'm not only shipping all my stuff back from Japan after 13 years. I'm going through a divorce, left money with my wife and kid. I'm pretty much broke. So I'm going to, I'll get in with Craig Handy. I'll hide behind him. We get to Smoke. There's a long line at Smoke and it's, I don't know, 20 degrees or colder. 10. It's freezing. And the doorman sees me and Craig right away. He sees we're musicians and we're going to try to do the musician thing. So the doorman says, wait to the side and I'm going to let all the people go. He let all the people in. It just happened to be Jimmy Cobb's birthday bash. Oh, Jimmy wow. Cobb's mob birthday, 80th birthday celebration kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it was packed. But so he let everybody in, and then he called, the doorman called us and said, okay, you two come on over. He said, okay, look, it's $40, 2-drink minimum. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I probably have $200 on me to my name. And I said, I thought Craig was more famous than this. And so we decided to bite the bullet. It's my first day in New York, man. We're already uptown. Okay, all right, here we go. Give us 2 tables. Well, 2 seats. We got 2 seats at a table. We had the basically the full course dinner. We had a glass of wine. I had a Coca-Cola or whatever, orange juice. And we sat and we watched Jimmy Cobb and saw a lot of other people there, New Yorkers. But now I'm cringing the whole time, man. This bill's gonna, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Just tomorrow. Don't even mention next week. I just moved back, The bill comes and it's $75 a piece. And I just know I can't keep that up. And just then Craig Handy, who I've been knowing for years, he looks over and he says, man, no wonder I don't hang out anymore. And that's just what I got to do, And he's past it. He said, man, no wonder I don't hang out anymore. That just broke my heart, I fell to the ground, fell to the floor. And now we're walking out. We're walking out of the club. Both of our heads are down. Mine is down more than his. We're walking out. We get right to the door to go out. And the club owner from across the club says, Tommy, you want to do the third set? I can pay you $80. Yes. Yup. Somebody maybe was talking, Tommy Campbell's space. I guess he lives here now from Japan. And they told the club owner yelled from across the room, Tommy, you want to do the midnight show? I can pay you $80. So, so it was my first gig back and I made $5. Welcome back to New York.
Oh my God.
Wow. So that was my first gig back. That was 11 years ago.
This is great, man. Okay, so I have my friend Taylor. He has a lot of questions. I'm not going to read them all, but I'm going to cherry pick because he interviews people too, and he's always giving me some good ideas for questions.
Okay.
So let's see. You already answered the one big wonderful moment, right? And he's talking about he's talking about a few different things. Maybe you want to cherry pick too. So first he's asking, what jazz record do you believe is underrated or overrated? He's also asking.
He's deep.
He's very deep. He's asking, being a drummer means you incorporate your own sense of conversation when you improvise. When you see
what was that, Les? What was that?
Being a drummer means you incorporate your own sense of conversation when you improvise.
Yeah.
When you see young drummers that can play, what do you believe is something they lack when you listen to them? There's
Well,
other.
the good ones here in New York, and I'm sure out there too. The good ones, you're like, man, how do you do that? And they study more than you did, or something. So let's start there. That they're all not bad, Let's start there.
What do you think of
one of the most basic ones is, especially ones that are not fully developed but still on their way, is dynamics. They don't really play dynamics well. And you can relate to that with your vocalists.
Absolutely.
Man, once I was playing with Dizzy Gillespie and Ronnie Scott's, and Ella Fitzgerald sat in, and I was in heaven, man. And with all of that, and thanks to my mom, who used to imitate Sarah Vaughan, I didn't even know that she imitated Sarah Vaughan until I got to Berklee, and we had a listening analysis class, and they analyzed Sarah Vaughan and said, "Man, that's mom." But Ella, after we played, she literally complimented the musicians. What about this great young drummer that Dizzy has? Give him a hand, And we talked afterwards. I had an amazing moment, and played with her, only with Dizzy. I played with all the singers because all the singers love Dizzy, And Dizzy could phrase like all the singers. He could phrase like Sarah. He could phrase like Billy Eckstein, Joe Williams. He could phrase like Carmen McRae, Ella, of course. He knew all their phrasing. So when Dizzy would sing his and be kind of funny, he'd sing the blues. Yeah. His phrasing was right on it, on it, man.
You played with Dizzy a long time, right?
I did. Straight for almost 4 years, 3.5 years, like straight, all over the place, all over the world. And then periodically up until 3 months before he passed away. When he came out of the hospital, his last time out, he was thin and frail and the whole deal. And the first thing he wanted to do was start playing, get it on. So he called Ed Cherry and he called me to come over to his house, and we started playing tunes. And he started to get his. That I learned that experience taught me that no matter how sick you are, a musician, no matter how sick you are, in your case, being a vocalist, no matter what ailment, sickness you had in the hospital, no matter what kind of medicine they gave you, and this is not always true, but generally speaking, you really don't feel like yourself and you won't look like yourself until you get back on your instrument. Best medicine.
Yeah.
The best medicine. Medically, it doesn't make sense to say that, maybe, if you're a doctor, but just about every musician I know, they don't start to look like themselves until they come out of the hospital and start playing their instrument.
Yeah.
Feel like themselves and the whole deal. So that was a major life learning experience for me. And that's what, because I saw it firsthand from several people, that's what I believe. That's my belief. Is that the only way to think about things? No. But that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. To get back to Taylor. Sorry, Taylor, if you're listening. I'm a rambler, man. You got me all excited, Cathy. So the dynamics is one thing for sure. And of course, that because they're younger musicians, because they're learning so much, they want to experience it and get it out, see what it feels like and what it sounds like and what it looks like and how they can use it and so they usually come with too much information, Yeah. But then they start to learn that you can't play everything. That's a pretty general, basic rule. After you've heard yourself overplay, then you look for the next step. Why do I sound like crap? Because you're overplaying, and then you learn to be selective.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So, He's also asking
I know
about.
I didn't answer that directly. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
you,
Jay.
no, yes, you did. You said dynamics, really. That's what you said, and which is a great answer. Dynamics, and also what you had said before about listening.
Yeah, and you just can't be soft all the time because then you just bore them to death, and somebody
Yeah,
will hear a cricket and start to fall asleep.
yeah,
So it's the balance of dynamics is,
yeah,
I
yeah,
believe, what's key.
yeah. Me too.
I always try to pop them once. If it's a quiet gig, I'm looking for a place to not be quiet.
Yeah,
First, I handle the quiet.
yeah.
Make sure you got that down. Now you're looking for what's the easiest way to do something different? Play loud or louder. Yeah.
um, I have somebody put Dan put you and Sonny Rollins and you and Dizzy up. Maybe we could listen a little to one of those. What do you think?
Okay. I hope it's a good one.
I hope so too, man. Well, here's Sonny. This is you guys in Copenhagen.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't very long.
That just to give you a rough idea, that section probably lasted minimum 20 minutes and probably around 40 minutes, average 30 minutes or something like that. I mean, just on and on. And don't let him sense that you're getting tired or your mind is drifting. Oh boy. Oh boy. And don't ever play in your hometown with Sonny Rollins. You go, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Campbell. Yeah, Tommy. Oh, you have some extra fans here in Philadelphia. Okay. And boy, look out. He'll let you shoot your whole arsenal. Go ahead, go nuts. Go ahead, show them what you got.
Oh gosh.
Okay, you're done, right? No, you want some more? Okay, go ahead. Okay, you finished? Okay, my turn.
And what about here's a little? This is a little of Dizzy. that drum.
Maybe that's Sam Rivers on sax.
James Moody.
Oh, Jay.
Woo! Wow. Oh my God, that's intense, man. Wow. And a guitar, a guitar trio.
Yeah. And
That's
Ed
interesting.
Cherry was the first guitar player that I played with that knew how to play all the melodies, but with the chords, and counterpoint, guy tones and
Yeah.
chord solos, and he could play the melody, the harmony, the secondary parts of songs. What am I trying to say? Counter melodies and whatnot.
Yeah.
All the in betweens and stuff. He
Yeah.
could play it all. Just him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, I was in a fusion band with Kevin Eubanks, and we played a lot of odd meters and a lot of funk. And Dizzy drove up to Boston, not himself, because he can't drive a lick, man. Somebody drove him up to Boston, and he came to Pooh's Pub and listened to 2 sets of my band, which was really me and Kevin's band. It was called the Tommy Campbell Band, but Kevin wrote every song except for one. No, we did songs of Stevie Wonder and Jeff Beck, but I only wrote one song in the band. And it was my Harmony 1 final exam. It's still one of my best songs because the teacher said, make sure you have an intro, interlude, and he set boundaries and ended up being, I learned a lot, man. Berklee was such a great school, man. Oh my, I don't know how long you stayed there, but
I was there 3 years. Well, 2.5, I think.
okay.
Yeah.
I was there almost 8 semesters.
Yeah.
And the last semester, Dizzy called me. He called me three months before I was supposed to graduate with my diploma in instrumental performance. Berklee, the administration, they called me up to the office. They said, Tommy, we just realized that you don't have enough credits to graduate. And so we'll call your mom and we'll ask her to borrow more money from us, and we'll figure out how you can come back and do one more semester so you can get your diploma. The next day, Dizzy Gillespie called me and said, you want to go to Brazil and join the band?
And you said, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were pretty young when you went with Dizzy.
I was 21.
Oh wow.
And I sat in with him my second year at Berklee.
Oh.
And when I sat in with him, Mickey Roker was the drummer.
Oh.
When I sat in with him, you know, back then the 3 sets was very common. 3 sets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sets a night, right?
Yeah.
And so the 3rd set, you know, I was all prepared to do my brushes and my bebop. I was practicing my Max Roach and everything. And no, man, the 3rd set, we played James Brown, funky whatever. We played Kool and the Gang, Jungle Boogie.
Okay.
We played Down by the River, Buddy Miles, Down by the River.
Yeah.
We didn't do any jazz at all. And after that set, Dizzy brought me in the back room. We had a couple of hits of weed together. And he said, "So what are you doing here?" I said, "I'm at Berklee." He said, "When do you graduate?" I said, "Well, I haven't even thought that far, but in 2 years." And 2 years later, he called me. And he called me because I could play funk. He assumed that I knew all my jazz, which I did not. And I got my butt ripped. I got my butt kicked on how to play brushes and, you know, all the jazz tunes and styles and 2 beats. But he was ready to change. He wanted some better, funkier.
Yeah.
Just like Miles did.
Well, that cut that we just heard was very funky. That was who the bass player was wild. Who was that?
Yeah, that was St. Louis Blues. First of all, W.C. Handy, St. Louis Blues.
It was. Wow.
Yeah. He used to play it with his older bands, but they swang it. You know, with me, he made everything possible funk.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, we did Corn Alma with a little funk Latin. We did everything was he recognized my strength.
Yeah. So Michael Howe. Michael Howe
was a guitar player from San Francisco, moved to New York, was playing guitar all over, met Dizzy, started playing guitar with Dizzy Gillespie. He's playing a couple of weeks, and then Dizzy heard Ed Cherry and said, "Oh man, I gotta have this guitar player, Ed Cherry." So he kindly told Mike, "Look, man, I got another guitar player. You know, you've been great, but I want to use Ed Cherry from here on." Michael packed up, moved back to San Francisco, and a week later, Dizzy is all ready to go to somewhere like Chicago, Joe Segal Jazz Showcase, and he's got his new guitar player, can't wait to play with him. And then he realized, "Oh my, I don't have a bass player." So out of guilt, he called Michael first to see, "Hey, Michael, do you play bass by chance?" And Mike said, "Yeah." And Dizzy said, "Well, great. Then I'll meet you this weekend. We're in Chicago. You play bass." Michael hung up the phone, went to the music store, bought a bass. And played with Dizzy for like about 8 years.
Wow.
Bass.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was a guitar player the whole time.
Wow.
So I had to do some serious crash course learning about bass, of course. And since I had just joined the band around the same time, I watched Michael not even sniff a guitar for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And we'd be in the dressing room, and Ed Cherry would sit his guitar down, you know, to go wherever outside, but Michael wouldn't touch that guitar. You know, go send the bass, man. We got Ray Brown was at the last gig out in the audience. Ron Carter's coming to the next gig. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was wow. You know.
Is Michael Howe still around?
I just saw him 2 weeks ago. He lives in Harlem. I believe he owns a brownstone in Harlem.
Oh.
He plays gigs downtown, uptown. Plays local gigs, having fun. Yep. Yeah. Michael Howe. Yep.
So what are you doing lately? Are you doing like a mixture of stuff, or what's?
Yeah, I just came back from Russia, of all places.
Oh, cool.
I was in Istanbul and I was in Russia. I was in Russia for about 6 days. And everybody over there, of course, is ashamed to be Russian because of the way
Putin is.
Putin is killing people.
Yeah.
And it's even worse now because they started a draft. I left Russia the day before Putin announced that they were going to draft people.
Oh, God.
Went over there, played in Sochi where the Olympics was. Had a great time. I have a dear friend there, Igor Butman. We went to Berklee together, played together a lot. And he's the most famous jazz musician in Russia, Igor Butman. And went there, hung out on his private yacht. Amazing time. We played right on the Black Sea.
Oh.
It was amazing, just amazing. It was like being in the south of France. It was, just a beach town. Yeah. So amazing. Had a great time, and did clinics for really good musicians over there. Really good students, man. They're studying, playing, practicing all the time. And I played it with Igor when he was not famous at all. We were students. I played with him when he started to become a professional musician.
Yeah.
We did, and then when he started to get a little bit of a name in Russia, I did some tours with him with Joe Locke and Essiet and Joey Calderazzo and Harvey S. We would periodically do tours. He'd bring over, some Americans, good New York musicians. I played in New York with him a lot too. He had a steady gig where the actor Keith David, you know him, Keith David?
I know the name,
he
but
would come and sing. A lot of those actors, who feel that either they want to sing or they need to sing on some, they have a vocal hero that a lot of actors they try to imitate Johnny Hartman.
Oh, I know this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keith David. Yeah. He used to come all the time to our weekly gig, and he would just let me sit in and sing Johnny Hartman, please. And and he would, and he could sing too. Yeah. He every time it would get better and better. I mean, and he was never flat or sharp or anything like. He could sing.
Yeah.
He'd sing, and so that's what I noticed. That's what he would use. He used that tool in his acting, when he's got to sing something,
Yeah.
Yeah. So one time in about 1992 or so, when the airlines decided to finally have no smoking on international flights.
Yeah.
But some of the last airline companies to do it were the airlines of countries that smoked a lot. Italy, Russia, and so Russia they were like Aeroflot, they were the last. So we fly over that year, from Kennedy and we're going to Siberia. We fly over, we land in Moscow on Aeroflot. We get onto another plane. It's me, Joe Locke, and Essiet, and we meet Igor in Moscow. We get on the second plane to go to Siberia. That's another 5 hours to Siberia. Russia's so big.
Yeah.
We get on the plane, and the plane is only half full, and so the Aeroflot officials come on and they say we can't leave, ladies and gentlemen, because this plane is not full. We have to have a full flight in order to leave to go to Siberia. So they put live animals in all the empty seats: 2 possums, a chipmunk, 4 penguins, a black cat, a raccoon. Yeah. Some of them were tied down, some of them weren't. And so we start. They said, "Okay, now we can fly." We go to the runway, and the black cat escapes. So we had to go back to the gate, and about 22 grounds people came on to catch the black cat, which it took them over an hour to do, to catch, And now we're about an hour and a half late for the concert in Siberia. We get to the runway. We take off. We level off at 42,000 feet. They come on. They make an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so sorry for this big inconvenience. We have special big bottles of vodka for each and every one of you to drink. So it'll help you relax, they said. So, and they said you could smoke. Anybody smoking, smoke away. The animals that you're sitting by, they won't mind. They're all going crazy, whistling and squawking and all kinds, right? And 10 minutes later, they say, we're gonna start our food service now, ladies and gentlemen. So get your tray table. Yeah, all the animals are like shaking in their chairs. They said, get your tray tables ready. Of course, the animals, they didn't put their tray tables down. They're like, so this is true now. Essie and Essie is Essie and Essie, who's a very famous New York great bass player, played with Art Blakey for years and many other great drum musicians, Roy Haynes, and he's a classic landmark jazz bassist. But he's from Nigeria, and he's across the aisle from me exactly, and he's saying, "Look, Tommy, I know this is rough, and you've never seen this before, but remember, we're going to Siberia, but I'm from Nigeria, and we used to have to go through jungles to get to our gigs sometimes. So this raccoon in the chair, this is nothing for me. We're used to seeing him in the tree, you know." So okay, all right, man, cool. I'm gonna hide. I'll be behind you. So they said, now, ladies and gentlemen, get your tray tables ready because we're going to start our food service. And so we look up at me and Essie. We look up at the track lighting, and we notice that, man, that's not cigarette smoke. That's like black smoke. And we both followed the track lighting to the back of the plane. Yeah, they started the food service. Open flame rotisserie chicken on the plane. It looked like the back of the plane was on fire. A big barrel, charcoal, big rotisserie, 12 chickens rolling around, fire, flames. Just then, Essie from Nigeria said, "You know what? I think Siberia is worse than Nigeria."
You cannot make this shit up.
Yeah, man. We were looking for parachutes. We were looking for parachutes, like literally. I'm sorry, I rambled off into
that's incredible. So
that's nuts, right?
Okay, so obviously you got there, but
We got there. The place was packed with nobody left. We were 3 hours late. Everybody was there. I get there. I show up to the worst drum set I ever seen in my life. There was the drum set literally had Band-Aids on the drum heads. One drum head was paper clipped. One of the head was cut, and they tried to paper clip it together, you know, with a stapler, and there was no snare drum. And we're in a big theater where they have, many different plays and different, and there's a wardrobe section, in the back, where not wardrobe. What do you call that? Not wardrobe. Props. The prop area where props for different, right? Where you have, you might see an armored suit for a knight. Anyway, I'm looking around the whole theater trying to find something that resembles a snare drum. Lo and behold, in props, there's a snare drum.
Oh no!
I'm telling you, man. And the prop was way better than the drum set that they had out there.
That is crazy.
All right, I'm sorry. Bring me back, reel me back.
Was that a great concert?
It was. They loved it, and even though I was playing a piece of poop of a drum set, I did have my own cymbals, and I had this snare drum at the props. But I can't say it was a great concert because the drum set was, for all intents and purposes, the drum set was horrible.
And everybody was waiting. The band.
Everybody was waiting. Probably about 8,000 people.
Wow.
All waiting. Like big hall.
Wow.
Siberia. That's when Igor was semi-famous. Now he's super duper famous.
Wow.
The concert halls we played this time was crazy, man.
Wow.
Just amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, had a great time.
So when is the Tommy Campbell book coming out? The book of memoirs, man.
Yeah, I got some doozies, believe me.
It's interesting that you seriously, out of all the people I've interviewed, people
Uh,
generally come up with this kind of stuff. I mean, people have had, catastrophes and all kinds of stuff,
right.
but you really like remember them and can have them like and have had them.
I don't remember a lot of things, but some stuff I do. There's a lot of friends of mine that remember things that happened that I forgot about, and they'll remind me.
Yeah.
And if it's good, I'll say keep going. But if it's bad, I'll go, okay, that's enough. But I've seen them all, man.
See, I have little ones like when I was the token American singer in a Russian band here in LA, and we did somehow the Russian band got hired by these Jewish Latinos for New Year's Eve. And it for 500 Jewish Latinos, and the only music they had in common was the Jewish music. And people like when we would play a Latin song, people would come over and say, "Could we hear a Latin song now?" Kind of reminded them. I wanted to be home in bed so badly. Oh my God, that's the kind of stuff that happens to me.
Yeah, I've done a few of those too. New Year's Eve gigs, man. I used to do them a lot, when I was younger, and then starting from my 30s on, I would periodically get a New Year's gig. I guess 50% of the time I would get a New Year's Eve gig, but then I noticed a lot of times I wouldn't get a New Year's Eve gig, because only one reason is because I'm not really mended into the club date. See,
Yeah.
I'll do club dates here and there. You call me, man.
Yeah.
I got tuxedos, suits, you name it. I don't really like to wear them. I got to be getting paid. But hey, I got to make a living. In every pair of pants I have a stick pocket in the leg.
Oh, nice.
Every suits, tuxedos, suede pants, leather pants.
Cool.
Yeah, but so even with my tuxedos, I have a stick pocket. I'm ready to go, but not really. It's got to be paying, or there's got to be some pretty girl involved, or food, or something. Otherwise, especially at this stage in my life, I really do not. I really try not to play music for money.
Yeah.
If you're lucky and if you're pointed in the right direction, the money just happens.
Yeah.
You just got to know what to do with it. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
But so I've been very fortunate, very lucky. I'm actually bad with money. I've come to that conclusion, a decade ago, if not more. And I'm all right with it. It hurts when I need it, and I'm down but for most of my life, I've been cool. I just maintain, everything's paid. I don't have much, but here comes another tour or a record. I'm doing what I love to do. So, I'm cool. So far so good. Who knows what lies in the future, but
I talked to a friend of mine yesterday on the show, a bass player named David Jackson, who, in his words, is a journeyman, right? He's not like a choir guy. And, but he said for a long time, up until a certain year, he would have all these gigs, and then, like the rent or whatever would be due on a date. And then 10 days later, all the money would come in, right?
Oh.
And so finally he thought, I'm through with that. I want to be rich for 10 days and then the bill comes in instead of the bill comes in and then I'm poor. And like the next minute, that was what would happen forevermore after that.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Wow,
Great
that's cool.
manifestation, right?
Wow. That's great. In my 30s and 40s, it seemed like every time I would come back from a major tour, the college loan people would call me the next morning, not even 2 mornings after. The next morning, saying like, "Man, you guys tracking me?" Absolutely, every time. My mom always told me, "Tommy, just if you discontinued your payments, just tell them that I will start my payments again at the very minimum, which is like $25 a month. As long as you promise them that, they can never arrest you or something." This is what my mom told me. So I've always done that. And then one year, I'm coming back from a tour, and the next morning, sure enough, the college loan people who have now sold their loan to another private company, right? And so they call me, "Miss Campbell, we haven't gotten the payment in like 3 years, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, things dropped off. I'll start back up again, blah, blah, blah." "Okay, all right. Well, what can you do?" "I can do 25 a month." "Okay, let's get that rolling again. We'll set up the payment, blah, 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 blah." And so we're talking, and the guy says, "By the way, I'm a guitar player too. I'm a musician too." And I opened my big mouth and said, "Oh yeah, is that why you're sitting behind a freaking desk hassling me?" And he said, "Oh, Campbell, you want to take that tone with me? I see. Hold on a second." And this guy shut my bank account down like that.
Wow.
He said, "Hold on." I know exactly what he was doing. I ran to my bank. They didn't. I ran to my bank to withdraw. Too late, sir.
Wow.
"Mr. Campbell, your account has been closed." He took that money.
Wow.
The whole tour. So that was a example of me waking up on the wrong side of the bed. I had the whole plan. I got back from Europe and I hung out that night. I'm back. Time changed and whatnot. I hung out, and the guy called me at early in the morning and woke me up. Oh man, I was so mad. And I held it together until the very end.
Oh my God.
Oh, really? Okay, watch this. I learned my lesson on that, boy. Even if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, hold your emotions there.
Wow. Okay, so
we're talking a lot about music, aren't we?
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, we're talking about everything, and that's the cool thing. I'm just looking at stuff that you've done. My friend Dan had put the all music thing up here, and it's like you've done. I mean, I'm just mentioning a few people. Oh, Tom Lellis. You worked with Tom Lellis.
Yeah.
Andy,
just a great record with him. 2 great records.
He's great. Andy Galore, Otoko no Kakurega. Well, it says Otoko no Kakurega.
Oh, that Otoko no. That is that's the name of a song or something. That's not the name of.
Okay, that was a compilation. Then
maybe that was it.
Akiko, Leslie Burrs, Attila Lassio, Mac Golahan. You have several records of your own. Ray Anderson, Santi DeBriano.
Santi DeBriano, Ray Anderson, major parts of my life. Yeah.
Richie Cole.
Yep.
Joanna.
My only only Grammy winning record that I ever did was with Richie Cole.
West Side Story.
Yep.
Yeah. Clifford Jordan.
Yep. Clifford Jordan Big Band.
Yep. Chico Freeman.
Yep.
Onaji Allen Gumps, the Remingtons. Oh, the Remingtons. Makoto Ozone, who I know from Japan. He's really.
I did his first record.
He's a great person.
Yeah. Oh, I love him. He's a dear friend. And when I was in Japan all those years, I could come to him. He would give me some really, how can I say, some really solid advice on what not to do, what to do. Don't overstep your bounds. You're a foreigner. Here's where you can progress as being a foreigner. Whatnot. Yeah. He's really my brother, really honest to me.
Yeah.
So, this is all Japanese, man. Don't interfere,
I like him. He I think I met him through the guy who brought me over not originally, but he saw me perform in Fukuyama, and he owned a music school in Kobe called Koyo Conservatory. You might
Yeah,
have.
that was a subsidiary of Berklee.
Oh yeah, right. And so he was also like a booking person. He booked me and Phil
Oh,
for
good.
years, and then but he also booked uh, Makoto and the trumpet player. Who's
Jerry
the
Marcelino?
no the guy who went to taught at Berkeley? He lived in Boston. Um, to,
Tiger.
Tiger, right?
Tiger Okoshi.
Yeah. So that's how I met Makoto and Tiger actually, because we were being booked by Sagauchi, and yeah, I just Makoto was. Well, they were both cool, really
Yeah.
cool, and yeah.
Tiger was my ensemble teacher.
Mm,
And what he did as being an ensemble teacher, he wanted to start a band. So he picked all the best musicians in his ensembles. He
yeah.
pulled them all out. Bill Frisell
Oh. Huh.
and myself. And he started a group called Tigers Baku.
Ah.
When you were there, he had a group called Small Potatoes.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Tiger was an amazing writer. What he did, he took just American classic harmony,
Yeah.
that type that harmony, 2-5-1 harmony, and he put rock beats to it, fusion,
Yeah.
and that's really, it's really what he did. And he wrote some catchy stuff, and we had a very popular band when I was at Berklee.
Ah. He was smart, very smart.
Very smart.
Yeah.
What I learned is that, man, Japanese people, they can write music so easily, man, because of,
They're training.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know, when I first went to Japan, the drummers were really not hip. They play something really hip for four measures, and then they totally change it the next four measures, and totally change that the next four measures. So that was like really annoying, you know. The bass players were great,
Yeah, bass players are good.
but then as time went on, you know, then it became really wonderful. And now, of course, you know, great players in Japan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a great time in Japan because they analyzed everything. So I was able to, as they figured out what it was called in English or whatever, I could sit and go, oh, that's what that is,
Yeah.
I brought a bunch of music over there because I have a vocal band, Janice Siegel was in my vocal band, Miles Griffith.
Oh,
And when I left New York, I took my music over there. Most of the charts I wrote out. Man, I had one rehearsal with my Japanese band, and they came back to the next rehearsal with all rewritten charts that looked so much better than mine, man. Man, I was like, golly, okay, well, whatever helps you learn it,
So wait, I want to hear about this vocal band. I didn't quite get before that. Janice Ian and Miles.
Janice Siegel, yeah.
Janice Siegel, sorry. I should know because she has my name.
Not really.
So just tell me about that group for a minute.
It started from my work with the transfer.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked Janice, would she do a project with me? And she said, yeah. So and I love fusion, of course. So it was not a lot. I always kept it even, but the fun part was doing odd meter stuff.
Yeah.
And I was raised with a lot of vocals around me. So what my vocal band really specializes in, it's a musicianship type of thing. The first thing I do when I call a vocalist is first, this is not a money gig. So let's get that out of the way first.
Yeah.
I might write 3 choruses of lyrics and a half a chorus of melody. And you start with the melody, but you sing the lyrics and you create your own melody according to the chord changes that I wrote.
Yeah.
That are there, the different chord changes. And so, so your improv you're improvising on the melody using the lyrics that make sense, that tell a story.
Yeah.
Or I'll write 3 verses of melody and just a half a verse of lyrics, and you sing the melody and you add your own lyrics according to the situation where we are, you know, what we're doing. So some stuff like that. And of course, I'm a drummer, so obvious rhythmic,
Yeah.
stuff, of course.
Yeah.
And like we might do Smile in 5, in 9 as a bossa nova in 9, which is really nice.
Yeah.
We do All Blues in 13, 6 and 7, and things of that nature. Along with, I love quoting, like from Sonny Rollins. He's a quoting machine, so I like to put 2 different songs on different songs, like the Summer of 42 and the Peacocks. They go together very well.
Wow.
Very well.
Wow.
You can have one person sing the Peacocks and the other person tailgate with the Summer 42, the melody.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
And yeah. My problem is that I never just got the right funding or the right timing to get everybody on the same page and going to the right studio and do it. Always something slips up. For example, I had one of my students who's Black, but I met her in Japan. She is in California and doing very well in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I had her come and do a song and do a gig, to do a warm-up gig and do a recording. I already had the male vocalist here. So male and female vocalists in the band. Male vocalist, female vocalist, guitar, piano, bass, and drums. And because of my concept in music, it involves a lot of improvisation.
Yeah.
Big part of it, you know. But you got to have the foundation down in order to improvise, so we all stay on the same page. So I wrote these 2 songs back, and we sing them, play them back to back. One's called "Selfish Fella," and it segues into "You Must Be Crazy." So also in the group, in some of the songs, there's parts of the songs where there's no scatting. You got to improvise, but there's no scatting, no bop shabam, no. And other songs, it's all scatting and no words, you know, that kind of thing. So I set parameters.
Yeah.
So this one song, "Selfish Fella," it starts with a vamp. And in the vamp, the 2 vocalists go back and forth. They can be like buddies or girlfriend and boyfriend, or just friends, or brother and sister, or husband and wife. And they can go back to how you're so selfish. You always wanted to leave at the time when I want to stay. And you create this kind of, not necessarily friction, but just a bounce back and forth, you know? Yeah. So and you improvise, and hopefully you and of course, hopefully the objective is to say something that the audience can relate to. You're looking at the audience and seeing and size them up, and so Selfish Fella. So they sing that song, you know. After this dialogue, we go into the song. Then they sing the melody and their solos. Then that segues right into another vamp, which starts "You Must Be Crazy." And the same thing, you dialogue, no scatting, no singing. You just dialogue, and you raise things about, you know, how this person is more crazy than you. You're so crazy you wear these hats that are, and you know, your hair is never as wild, and you know, you're so crazy, you know, and anything like that, you know. The shirt you always wear, a long sleeve and a short sleeve, the left side, the short sleeve, is you're nuts, you know, whatever. You make the audience, entertain the audience, you know, right? Yeah. Well, they're going back and forth. And in this case, it was a New Rican male vocalist. That's a Puerto Rican who's born and raised in New York, New Rican, right?
Oh, okay.
And the singer, who's from LA, she's Black. So they're going back and forth. And "You Must Be Crazy." "Girl, you so crazy." "Yeah, boy, you're so crazy with that hat on. And he says, yeah, well, all you black people are so crazy. Black people are so crazy. And the audience went, you know, they took it very racially, you know, and she did, especially. She was so mad that after the set, she took that singer in the back room and cussed him out. Yeah, and she had to come up with something on the spot, you know, on the spot, you know, black people are so crazy. And she said something like, yeah, that's why I will take his gun and shoot you. You know, and the audience loved it, you know, it was sense. She took him in the back room and laid him out. and then quit the band.
Oh, wow.
We had a recording like 3 days later. No recording.
Well, that wasn't nice.
I know, man. So I've had things like that. Yeah. But when it's happening, I mean, every vocalist that's ever done the gig wants to do it again.
Yeah.
They don't care what they're not thinking about money at all. Yeah, they have a great time.
Sounds great.
And it usually always brings out something, you know, they usually always bring out something that you never knew you had, you know, because I set these parameters. You can't do this, you do this here, sing that here. So yeah, to vocalize.
I like that. I mean, actually, the last few gigs and before, but once again, I'm doing spoken word. Band plays free, spoken word, and then singing with the word. And you know, I have this group. You probably in my emails have seen Fish to Birds, my improvisational.
Oh, I remember seeing that Fish to Birds.
So there's like 7 of us, and we're usually a cappella. Sometimes we'll add a player, but and then we've been together about 9 years. So we have some forms that we go to, but we don't. You know, nothing's rehearsed. It's all in the moment. But it amazes me how some of my friends can really spontaneously deliver communication.
Right.
And that's not my forte. I try and do that sometimes, you know, but it's not my forte. I'd have to practice it more and more. I can do other things, but like I have a girlfriend, Gail Larone, no problem. She gets up, she does Little Red Rooster, and she just goes off.
Right. Right.
No problem at all, you know.
I make up stuff. Yeah.
That's such a cool ability to have. Really is great.
I like how Diane Reeves introduces her band with melody. She sings everybody. You know.
Yeah. You have to have a little bit of bravery to do that stuff.
You do.
Because you know you don't really know how it's coming out. Although it's going to come out fine when you're in that zone. But does the audience like it? Like looking around last night, I was, you know, little part of me was going, I wonder if that guy's liking it, you know.
Right.
But I'm having fun. I'm doing creative stuff and having fun. So, and I want to do that more and more because I really like that avenue of, you know, spoken word and improvisation.
Yeah.
So much. It's cool. It's really cool. I don't know if I'd have the balls to be really dramatically honest. Like there's a really great poet from the World Stage who I think was one of the co-founders of the World Stage, and he's been doing it for years. And anything that comes out of his mouth is so socially beautiful. You know, it's honesty and it's great. And you listen to it and you go, yeah. You know, and I like when I listen to him. Sometimes I think, well, what am I, a little Jewish girl from Boston? You know, what am I gonna come out with? And if I really said some shit, would I be brave enough to actually, you know, really say the shit that
I tell you, boy, that really, it's like when it works beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't work, it really hits you right in the head, you know. Bang.
Yeah. Like the singer can quit the band.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yep. So
one thing Taylor asked, which you know, he's asked a string of questions, but one thing is, do you ever get stuck in a creative block? And if you do, what do you do to get your motivation back?
You can try smoking some weed. That always kind of that'll. You don't smoke gummies or whatever you do. I jokingly but seriously said that. Now, totally, because sometimes it works. You just start listening to create other creative people like Magus, and Dizzy, and you Sly and the Family Stone, and
you know what I've just been listening to this record, Bobby Bradford, and he's this was a tribute to Jackie Robinson. This is a new record. It's really good.
I love the photo on it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's got Henry Franklin on bass, Tina Raymond on drums, and Don Preston and Vinnie Golia, Chuck Manning, William Roper. Man, it's really good.
That's another thing that your being on your mailing list really reminds me. And there's a lot of names on your mailing list that I don't know, but I can tell that they're good. You flew them in. They've done. I look at their bio and go, okay, but never heard of them. Just a lot of musicians out here, man.
I know.
Vocalists, man, female vocalists. Oh my gosh.
It's really amazing.
Semi-professional, professional, good ones, bad ones. Oh my gosh.
All over the planet.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Japan has more music students than any other country in the world.
You think so?
No, it's a proven fact.
Oh.
If they crunch the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it can still be left to some opinion, but it's stated.
Yeah.
Japan has more music students than any other country.
Huh. Maybe it's per capita too, though. I mean, but Japan, like Europe, has a different value judgment on learning music.
This is true. Yeah.
America, we have to fight for that point of view. Fight to create, and it's so valuable, and you hear it time and time again.
But in Japan, they make you learn how to read and
right, like
they make every student learn how to play this. It's what looks like an organ, but it's really a keyboard,
clavinet or something,
double keyboard, with all the bells and whistles, where you can play every part by yourself because of the patches. It looks like an organ, but it's not. It looks like a cross between organ and keyboard. And every student, because my son went to school, every student has to learn that. I forgot what you call it. It's a name for it and everything, but everybody has to learn it. You have to learn how to read it. Man, I didn't even really learn to read until I was out of high school.
Yeah.
And that's why they didn't let me in the high school band, because I couldn't read well enough.
Wow.
And now I'm in the High School Hall of Fame, but that's another story.
Where are you from?
I was inducted into the High School Hall of Fame with Florence LaRue.
Oh, really?
You know who Florence LaRue is?
Yeah.
We went to the same high school. And we were inducted into the Abingdon High School Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And so the auditorium is filled with of course present students who were much younger than us. Of course, it was like an assembly.
Yeah.
And we took our awards and we had a little speech and everything. And of course, they insisted that a lot of even the youngsters know the Fifth Dimensions music.
Yeah.
So and so the youngsters started saying, sing some Fifth Dimension music. And our music teacher, the high school music teacher's right here. The music teacher going, nah, man, it's got bars of 3 in it. It modulates, and they made the high school music teacher get up and play. Marilyn McCoo just started. Florence LaRue just started singing, Age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. Aquarius. Man, you know, it modulates a lot more than you think, boys and girls. You know what I mean? The music teacher was like, oh my gosh. They put that music teacher to the ringer. And of course, the music teacher's boss, who's the principal, was like, you better be, just why we hired you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My friend actually got into the fifth dimension a few years ago.
Oh, really? Who's that?
Sydney Jacobs. Sydney,
What-
is that Sydney's last name? Sydney? I think so. Sydney Jacob. I know so many Sydneys. Yeah, Sydney Jacobs.
Okay.
He's a,
Because they kind of split up, and Marilyn McCoo and Billy, whatever his last name, you
yeah.
know, who were married, they kind of took the name and they're doing their own Fifth Dimension tours. And then the rest of them, Florence LaRue and the other cat, not Townsend, but they have another Fifth Dimension. So there's like two
Oh,
versions of Fifth Dimension. And I know the bass player, Derek Murdoch, who plays with both of them sometimes. So,
oh,
yeah.
yeah. He's my friend is good. He just came out with his solo album. Quite good. Quite good. So it's been about 2 hours,
Is it good enough?
taking off
I'll just,
technical.
plus I'm hungry now. I'll talk your brain out. You'll be like, Tommy.
I know, man. Talk my brain out. That actually could be good. Tommy Campbell, it's been
Cathy,
fun talking to you for a long time.
thank
Seeing
you.
your face.
Likewise.
It's really nice.
Thank you, Cathy. I hope to come out to California. You are going to be one of my first calls, no matter what. I'll know something will be happening because you're always you got the whole scene. You got a serious scene out there, girl. You're organizing jam sessions and I noticed that they're steady, you know, just like, you know, you got the routine with everybody's going, you know.
Well,
Vocals come here, instrumentalists come here, people who are studying come here, you know. Great.
LA is kind of happening right now. A lot of New Yorkers, musicians are moving out here actually. And there's new venues popping up and it's
Oh yeah, that's good. That's
happening.
one thing that scares us East Coasters from moving to California. If one club is closed, you got to drive 45 miles just to get to the next club.
Well, I don't think that's going to change actually, but
But you said more and more venues are coming out, so
they are. They are.
that's good. We need that.
Yeah. Thanks, Tommy Campbell.
Okay, thanks, Kathy.
I
To
love
be
you.
continued
And
in some
yeah,
kind of way.
it's been really fun. And thanks everybody. Come, archives the rest of the week and next week, some new people. Go to my website and you'll see who's actually happening. Okay.
Thanks for hooking me up on Zoom. Now I officially have Zoom again.
I'm glad you do.
Okay.
Bye.
I don't even know how to close the window. This is always so embarrassing.
There's an end meeting. You can leave meeting, and I'm going to end it though. So
Okay, end it.
you don't have to worry.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Kathy.